You haven't failed. The system failed you. And today, Henry is going to show you a way out. You've tried things. You've watched the videos. Maybe you've even bought a course or two. And somewhere along the way, a voice in your head started saying, maybe I'm just not the kind of person who can make this work. We know that voice. It has stopped many others, but it doesn't need to stop you. In today's Freedom Friday training, Henry will walk you through exactly how everyday people, many of them over 55, are building real income online. No tech background required, no big following, no problem. He will go live in just a moment. Drop a hello in the comments. Henry will see you inside. You haven't failed. The system failed you. And today, Henry is going to show you a way out. You've tried things. You've watched the videos. Maybe you've even bought a course or two. And somewhere along the way, a voice in your head started saying, maybe I'm just not the kind of person who can make this work. We know that voice. It has stopped many others, but it doesn't need to stop you. In today's Freedom Friday training, Henry will walk you through exactly how everyday people, many of them over 55, are building real income online. No tech background required, no big following, no problem. He will go live in just a moment. Drop a hello in the comments.
Let's start with the honest version of what NotebookLM is, because most people who have heard of it think it is just another AI chatbot. It is not. ChatGPT and Claude are incredibly powerful tools. You have already used them in earlier modules. But when you ask them a question, they are drawing from everything they were trained on, which is essentially the entire internet. That is great for general questions. It is not so great when you want answers that are specifically about you, your story, your business, and your content. NotebookLM works differently. You give it sources, your documents, your posts, your transcripts, your notes, your bio, and then it works only from what you gave it. When you ask it a question or ask it to generate something, it is pulling from your material, not from the whole internet. That is the shift that makes everything in this module possible. Think of it this way. ChatGPT and Claude are brilliant assistants who know a little bit about everything. NotebookLM is a brilliant assistant who knows everything about you, but only because you taught it. The more you put in, the smarter and more useful it becomes. For the life experience person, this means you can upload a few pages about your background and start generating content that sounds like you because it is drawn from you. For the tried it person, this means all those scattered videos, posts, and documents finally have a home where they talk to each other and produce something useful. What NotebookLM can do for you: summarize and organize everything you upload into it. Answer questions about your own content. Find themes and angles you had not noticed. Generate posts, emails, scripts, and ideas based entirely on your sources. Create an audio overview, which is a surprisingly good two-person podcast-style conversation about your material. It can also produce amazing slide decks that you can use to create YouTube videos or add to PowerPoint presentations online or in person. What it cannot do: it cannot browse the internet. It cannot pull in new information on its own. It only knows what you give it. That limitation is actually what makes it so powerful for this purpose. You are in complete control of what goes in, which means you are in complete control of what comes out.
Okay. I will find out when I listen to the recording to see if that came out clear. So what I want to do is I'm going to go in. I set up a new email account, a Gmail account. So when I log in, you will see a fresh desktop within NotebookLM. It will not have the other notebooks that I have done. I've used this quite a bit over the last several months, and I haven't used it for the purpose that I'm using it today. What I've done in the past is I have used it to create slide decks primarily, to be able to upload those into my YouTube channel that I set up 5-6 months ago, almost 6 months ago now. It's for gold and silver investing, and sometime I will go through the details of how I've done that, but that was all created with AI using Perplexity, and then posting videos over there. And the long form videos, I've created the content for those in within the NotebookLM. Use that feature to create the nice, beautiful PowerPoint slides. And then what you just heard was a recording I made using 11 Labs, picking a narrator voice that I have used before for some audio files. And so I take the audio files and the images and put them together. But today I'm doing something different because I'm going to follow along with what I offered to you in the training here. And so it'll be interesting because I only have 2 screens, so I can't see what I'm not going to be able to read what I put in the actual post up there in the module within AI for Humans, but I basically know what we put in there. So I'm going to go ahead and start this as a clean file. So here's what you do when you begin. You can see that there's some featured notebooks on different things that people have done, and I'm not going to get into that right now. I noticed I clicked on this a couple times, to get started. So let me just delete these other two that look like they got started. And I'm going to create a new notebook. So this was what the desktop looks like when you go in to do that. And I'm going to get myself out of the way here. Then what I'm going to do is take Claude over here where you can see it. And I'm going to ask Claude to help me put my content in. And so probably what I want to do is give Claude an image. Let's see, I did an image earlier of the desktop. Let me go find that. Back here a ways. And play a little elevator music while I'm looking here. I need to pull up the image here that I had of this desktop. There we go. There. All right. If I put an image in, it just helps to give Claude a little more perspective on what I'm doing. There we go. Found it. So this is my demonstration. I'm actually live right now on YouTube and my Facebook Live. So wave your hand. No, I know you can't wave your hand and say hi to the people, but you can type and say hello to the audience out there. There we go. Well, hello everyone watching YouTube and Facebook. So Henry is showing you NotebookLM, Google's IM-powered research built on Gemini. Fantastic tool for uploading your own documents and having an AI help you understand, summarize, and interact. What would you like to show the audience, Henry? I'm ready to help you walk through. Okay, so I just need maybe about a paragraph of my early history. You know where I started back there in the late mid-90s. Maybe a paragraph about that. That probably should be entered into Notebook. So here we go. He's pulling up the history. So and if you hear me refer to him, it as him or he, I've had to get used to that because I carry on conversations just like I was talking to somebody on a phone or on a live chat session on their computer, because I am talking to a live chat session. It just happens to be a very smart individual, and this has been helping me a lot for the last few months. So I'm going to copy this and switch back over here and drop the text in here. I can drop files. I can put copied text in. Okay. So it's starting to build out some of the information. Sure. What else do you think people would need to know, and what would the NotebookLM need to know for my current work with AI? And also, I'm not going to get into much today about what I do with the marketing program Legacy Builders, but you could add a sentence or two to that. I see it already had some of that information in from what you gave me. So why you hear me talking and all of a sudden the text comes up is because I use the Whisper app, which is the line at the bottom here. You can see if I hover over this line, it pops up. So I hit the Control plus the Windows. I'm on a PC version laptop. And so I can just speak and it will put the content in there. So here we go. Here's my AI journey. And I'll go back over here to add some more text. Okay, so it's asking some questions. I can fill out that. How did 30 years of digital marketing history shape the system? I'm just going to add more text here. You can see it's going there. I'll grab the rest of what Claude put up here. Add that in. And then I'm going to do something else over here. I'm going to grab the link for a website. So I'm going to go back over here, clicked on sources, add sources, and now I can put in, I wanted to put in multiple websites. I could do that. I can put in, I could speak that, or I can fumble along with my fingers. Here we go. So I've just added, it's having a problem with that. Let's see. Okay. Had a problem using that URL evidently. Let me go and pull up one other thing. So I'm going to add one more website. This is a website for my Mission Springs or web hosting Springs website. I've owned a hosting and domain name company for something like 17, 18 years. So that's pulling in the content from that. So ask a question. So what do you know about Henry and his history by now with these sources, with the websites and the text that I put in? So it's reviewing the content, gathering history. Based on the sources and our conversation history, Henry Griner is a veteran digital entrepreneur. Hey, I like that. With over 30 years hands-on experience, who currently brands himself as the AI explorer and technology teacher. That's pretty much what I'm doing, what I say that I am. Here's my professional background. Began in 1996, built the first website during the era of dial-up internet and Netscape. That's right. The first website I built was for the Bank of Elk River. I pestered the president of the bank for about 6 months before he and telling him he needed a website. That's the way the world was going. And he kept saying, hey, we've been here since like 1898 or whatever. Why do we need a website? People know where we are. And finally he gave in and he told one of the vice presidents, Larry, to work with me, and they gave me a computer to work at in the basement of the bank on a dial-up modem. and all we had was Netscape as a web browser back in those days. So over 3 decades, done affiliate marketing, digital products, infrastructure, operates Mission Springs Tech, doing business as Mission Springs Web's hosting, provider of shared VPS, dedicated, I won't read all that. Current AI mission focus at 70 plus. I'm now 76 years old while I'm sitting here doing this video. And that's why I need more coffee, because I think it must be all of the green stuff here in Tennessee. My Minnesota body, even after nearly 4 years of being here, isn't quite used to all of the pollen and everything else that's in the air. So I can only talk for a little while, and then I start to sound like a frog or get a frog in my throat. So here's some more coffee. So Henry focused on making artificial intelligence practical and accessible. Education philosophy: he believes technology should empower rather than intimidate people. That's one of my goals. If I can do it, you can do it. Whatever age you are, as you listen and watch, you should be able to do this stuff. So workflow teaching, Claude certified architect. As noted in an earlier discussion, he earned his certification in 2026. I'd have to look that up. Thank you for giving me that. Let me see, where did I'll have to ask Claude about that. Let's go back over here to pull up his screen. There we go. So I just talking to NotebookLM and reviewing the things that have been compiled so far, and I saw this come up, and I was wondering, when did I get this? Oh. Do I remember any specifics? That way we can make sure that NotebookLM has the accurate story behind it. I'm not sure. I never gave you a blue ribbon that I got as a Claude certified architect, engineer, or anything like that. So maybe we need to just pull that off your memory. However, if there is a certification program for Claude that Anthropic offers at a low price of not more than $10, let me know if you come across that. Okay. So it's been removed from Claude's system. As for an official certification program, I'm not aware of one currently. Oh, now you just searched the web. My memory was actually correct. Here's what Anthropic pulled up. Anthropic launched the Claude Certified Architect CCA on March 12th, 2026 as their first official technical certification. So for $99, yeah. Anyway, I won't go into it. Says, so it's not really the right fit for your audience, and it's nowhere near that $10 price point. All right, so I'm going to go back over here, and now that we've got some information in here, even though the certification wasn't quite right, I wanted to point out, I'm going to wrap up here pretty soon, but I want to point out how you can go about getting some output. So I could ask for a mind map, and let me do that. Now there's audio overview can be made from whatever information that's pulled together. And this is the main chat area. This is where you add resources and so on. I could go in here. I already did copy text. I could upload a Google document or a Word document, PowerPoints and so on. I could upload them directly from the drive if I had a Google document. And you saw what we did with the loading up the website links. So just to keep things short and to give you a little bit of an idea how to pull content out of here, what I've been doing is doing the, well, let's see, where do they put them? Well, right now it looks like they have pulled. That's interesting. I'll have to look into that where the slide deck is, but I'll just do the mind map right now. Must be restricted to a certain source. Create a mind map to help me study the World War. So see what it does there. So when it works on something, it comes up in this window and you'll see it being generated. Now I can go in here and pull a report, create your own briefing doc, study guide, blog post, and it's loading some suggestions. AI and orientation guide. Now that sounds interesting. Let's do that and see what it gives me. So you can see there's a number of ways that you can load up information. And as I've shown, let me go back to my window. Let's see. Find the right screen here with the school information on it. Here we go. Back to the classroom. And so from content to cache. So these are the, the 6 modules that I put together along with Claude's help. We co-collaborate on this. Claude writes most of the copy as I've given him information, and then it drops the information in here. So I'd encourage you to go through, and if you are not already a member of my AI for Humans school group, you can do that. You can go to AI. Let me pull up my screen over here. You can see it down below me here, right about there. AIforhumans.biz, not .com, AIforhumans.biz. It's not, that link isn't secure, so it doesn't have a H, or it doesn't have the S in there. So it's http://AIforhumans.biz, or just go to your web browser and type in AI for Humans, and that will take you right to the site. So this will help you to go through if you've not used it before. And you can actually go in and take a copy of each of these pages if you want to. If you want to make a Word document out of it, copy it into your Google Drive, you're free to do that. This is not, it is not information that is proprietary to me or anybody else out there. But you can go in here, and then at the end, see if I still have that page on here. I put a, where was it? Oh, no, not that one. I did this about 3 days ago, and I'm looking for I'll have to check it. Maybe I didn't save the page. I put some shortcuts in there for you to get to some resources. I will check that. Oh, here they are. All right. It's in, I thought I put it towards the end. It's in the second lesson where it talks about pulling content and so on. So the way to do this, back over here, there you can see me too. So the way to do this, to pull content, the AI platforms, ChatGPT, Claude, NotebookLM, none of them at this point are set up to be able to have you give them a website or a YouTube link and go and watch it and pull the content out. But if you go and pull a transcript and then upload that to any of those platforms, it'll give you all of the information. It's not going to look at the pretty pictures. If there are some charts, let's say somebody put some charts and graphs in there that would be helpful to include in the information you're pulling together, you can just do a screenshot of those and add those. But this is a YouTube transcript tool. It's free. And then another place is if you want to find some content, let's say you're like me and a few years back, 10, 15, 20 years back, you built a website and it's not alive anymore, but you would like to pull the content and put that into NotebookLM because back in the day, you were a successful, whatever that was, and you want that history. So if you go to the Internet Archive, which is also called the Wayback Machine, if I go in here and put in the bank-er.com, that's actually the original URL for the Bank of Elk River. And let me go back to about 1996, 97. Let me do 97. So this is how it works. So you see some areas that are highlighted, some dates on the calendar that are highlighted in blue. And then if you scroll down and click on the actual date, 21/7 of 10, that will pull up the page. So this is, and not all of the content. Sometimes images don't get saved in there. You can see there's some images that aren't showing up yet. But this is the website that I built for the Bank of Elk River. See what we get if I click on some of these. Yeah. Jim Simpson was the president of the bank back then. And so it's not pulling up the picture. There was a audio file that I had of him. This was just basically a brochure back then. There was no online banking. There was no, all we had at the bank for them was they had the computer in the basement that I worked on. They had a dial-up modem. They had a computer upstairs that they put a modem on and set up an email that hooked up to the website. And this website, it wasn't, I didn't have my hosting and domain name system back then. That was, I've only had that for less than 20 years. But I forget where we even went and got the domain set up, maybe GoDaddy. I don't know if GoDaddy was around. But anyway, we had an email address set up on a dial-up machine in the upstairs of one of the secretary's offices or VP's office. And if people wanted to communicate, they could go and click on a link somewhere in here. We had a link to contact them. And that's how the internet got started. Before online banking, later on, they switched over to a system. I go back and way back again. think it's just Bank of Elk River now. bankofelkriver.com. Nope, didn't like that one. Okay, let me get out of there. Anyway, they switched over to a banking system that had website and all of that, called Jack Henry back in those days. So anyway, that's a little bit of banking history, but I wanted to give you that info because, let's see, where was that? All right, this other link. So here's the YouTube transcript tool. This will be the last thing I want to show, and a little over a half hour since I got the recording actually working. So here's what you do. Let me go over here and my other screen and pull up a YouTube. There we go. Give me just a second while it's loading. I've got way too many windows open here. Open up a new web browser and look at my channel. And I'll show you how this works. This will be my final freebie after you've paid to be on here for all this other information. Okay, so here we go. Found a video. You listen as my AI assistant shares. We don't need to hear you right now,
some
sir.
good news.
No, that's enough. I can grab the URL from up at the upper line that you'll see up in your browser bar, or I can go in to click the share button. It really doesn't matter which one you use. So it's going to go get the transcript. Here's everything that was in the transcript. And it pulls out the by second. Now if I want to copy that, now I have the copy. And sorry, I want to do a review right now. So if I want to use that in a WordPress or a Word document, whatever it might be, I can do that. Let's just go and throw it in. I'm just doing a last example of pulling a transcript of a video out and throwing that up for you. So let's just show people how I paste that in. Okay, now it's looking at the transcript. Great transcript to drop in a NotebookLM. All right. Anyway, so that is how all of that cool stuff works. So I'd encourage you to go over to my AI for Humans school group. And if you have not joined yet, it's free to join at some point, probably in another month or so. As I build up more content, I will be doing some upgraded information on there. I've already been in contact with some people to be guest presenters and then provide information on their tools and systems that they're using, that they're teaching. And that will probably be in an upgrade box or something like $6, $7, $107, I don't know. But while the door is still open, everybody who comes in now will have lifetime access. So at some point when I have thousands and thousands of people in there, you can say that you're a founding member. How's that? For that and a $3.89, you can get yourself half a cup of coffee, as the joke goes. So, all right, enough for today. Thank you for tuning in, whether you're watching here live on Facebook or on my YouTube channel, or in the replays. Later on, I will transcribe this and drop it up for more content, and sometime I will share that with you. And Mike Cowan is great at teaching that, and I will have him on here as soon as we can work out a time for him to come on and share too. So that's it for now. Thank you. God bless. Bye-bye.